Hello and welcome as it is the 21st day of December 2020. My name is Derek. All bets trades. All bets, I suppose, is within each his own risk and their own reward. I just have a little bit of information as far as any type of upcoming wagering, and it's still several days away. However, before we get into that, I'm going to focus in on this last weekend's NFL action as I released a few plays, one in particular, which was a loser. Practically, I think all, but maybe all but one else was a winner. And that Carolina taking on Green Bay, Robert Tonyan did not manage to have his his yards number would have went under the total. His catches what did he end up? Did he get 4 or 3? He got 3. So 3 catches for 18 yards along. So the touchdown was the yes, and everything else hit on the under that I was mentioning. And when I watched that game, and I'm not surprised with what I've seen. And I mean, it seems like I get the most interesting of wacky, out of ordinary luck. It seems it's ordinary for me. A lot of times it can be bad, maybe more times, and it can be good too. And it's interesting how I can actually be able to overcome such situations. A lot of it's because of my risk-reward management, as long as other weird things as well. Because when you win big on good luck situations, one huge cash takes many losses. That's the one big reason too. With that being said, we'll see how it goes as we move on into pick number 2, which I don't see anything for tonight within the games, so when that will come, probably right by around Christmas time, maybe earlier, we'll see. But 3 catches, 18 yards, not getting the job done. As far as some other situations, now Rob Font, I mentioned, I'm not going to see it on the screen. I almost was thinking, do I put that in as a premium play? I mean, it's not even my pick. It's in fact, I don't even know if it's the person I took it from, if it's his pick, meaning Johnny the Greek, because he was getting good information on, and I watched that battle and easy win, I suppose. Also, other games on there. Let's see, Buffalo, Denver. There's nothing on that I went over. Tampa, Atlanta. There's a few other ones I know. What about the New York Jets? A 23-20 victory over the Rams. That is, wow. Philadelphia, Arizona, over the total. Yep, that's one of the ones. I was also considering that one too. Another Gianni one. And I was talking about Jalen Hurts not to throw an interception. And sure enough, he did not. Cleveland, New York Giants. Well, I mean, this is what... How did I not go out and just say, yeah, Baker Mayfield over 225? You can watch my video on it before. I was talking about it, like, oh, this just seems so amazing. Too good to be a true number kind of deal. Number's way too low. He throws for near 300 yards. The over-under was like 225 or 226 in that ballpark area. And I was even thinking before, and oh my goodness, people are going to be looking. If you look at statistics, you have those 3 shitty weather games and everything. You have to factor that in, adjust your mathematical calculations. And then understand that the New York Giants are nothing of a great pass defense team that should lower the number. No, none of that was the case. Now, I think this would have been the under here. Patrick Mahomes with the rushing yards. I think he rushed for, like, especially because a couple of kneel downs in his last play. I watched that game as well, too. What did he end up rushing for? That's receiving. Rushing's up here. 7. No, it was a winner. How did he get that run? I was watching. Did I flip the... Okay, it was all wins then. Oh my goodness. Yeah, everything, all my opinion plays won. Oh, this number was at like 16 or 17, I'm trying 18 or whatever, around at one point. How did I miss it? Did I flip it to the other game? The other game I was watching at the time was Arizona. I thought, okay, I guess I missed it. Must have been like literally the one play I missed. Every one of my, of course. And that doesn't surprise me. But that's cool. As it goes, we're going to take a quick look at next week's games. And then we're going to move into hockey. Because the information that I got is hockey related. At least for the next upcoming wager. Minnesota Vikings on Friday night. Oh, it's Christmas. Friday afternoon. 7-point underdogs against who lost to the Jets by a lot of points. And what's their? That's what I'm thinking. Who lost? It was the Rams. Okay. So we have a 6-8 Minnesota team, pretty much out of it, versus the New Orleans Saints, 10-4. I wasn't too sure what to expect of Breeze, and he didn't do much. I didn't think it was that great. I hardly watched as much of him though. Tampa Bay, Detroit, 7.5 for that of Tampa Bay. Don't see much on that. Arizona, 3.5. Probably, I don't see anything there. Offhand, when I say I don't see anything, that means I don't see anything like on the quick. Just because oftentimes you can see something quick and you'll be like way off. Cleveland by only 10. Only 10? Oh, always when I say anytime the old basic thing is whenever you have an amazing team, lose big as any team that wins as a straight up dog, like monster dog straight up, or loses as the same thing. Is it really a play against the team that won and play for the team that lost? Well, for the team that lost, which we'll see for the Rams, I want to see what their playoff situations. If it's demoralizing loss, it can get expedited or be bad. Carolina, Washington. Let's move further. Washington -2. I just have a hard time believing Washington to be that great of a team, but the line's still below that 3 number though. And Carolina sucks too, so. And home field advantage doesn't mean too much for me in this season. Chicago, oh my goodness, Jacksonville controls their own destiny now for first overall pick. But don't expect the players to want to lose, especially guys that want to, well, that's the quarterback to do anything about it, but anyone that would take the job, which would be the quarterback. So some guys, maybe the receivers and running backs do because they want that good quarterback, so who knows. Or even the defense for that matter, but I doubt it. As if it matters. They can try hard and they're still going to get their asses kicked. Kansas City by 11 against Atlanta. One way I think of playing Kansas City games, especially in a spot like Atlanta, because Atlanta does a damn good job at finding ways of losing. Oh my goodness, did they ever do that yesterday? Another game that I watched bits and pieces of. Really, the only 1 o'clock game that I watched yesterday. I didn't watch much of it though. Wow. I almost look to say, wait in the game. If you see any type of spots where Kansas City is struggling and you get a much better spread you could take live, it might be a great bet because it just seems that Kansas City, last year they did it all year long, and that's what the Atlanta trend is. But it was a demoralizing loss. But they might be getting used to it. They beat Atlanta. Atlanta playing against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh plays tonight. 2.5 point spread for Pittsburgh. Or Indianapolis. Did I say Atlanta, Pittsburgh? Anyway, with that game tonight, I'm not going to put too much into that. Baltimore 9.5 against the Giants. Baltimore's playing much better now too, so definitely can't just take the points and think that's a great play. And Cincinnati, they're playing tonight as well. Now there's one where Houston's a 9-point favorite. Really, they're a bad team, and interesting. There might be some value with Cincinnati. I don't know though. Chargers, they're terrible. So are the Broncos though. 3-point favorite for Chargers. That's just a simple spread. Wow, only one. We're not talking Philly by 3.5. That's my quick thinking right now that Philadelphia is much more superior than Dallas. Jalen Hurts was damn good yesterday too, and this team has got a little bit of confidence, I think, within them, even though they're bad and everything. And anyway, let's go Rams Seattle. Rams down to 9-5. Oh, I gotta think even Seattle might be a big play after a Ram letdown like they do, to have to go to Seattle like that and take on the veteran Russell Wilson quarterback. And Seattle's just one of the things they got is finding ways to win, especially with that number below the 3. That's my first instinctive play, is that Philadelphia and Dallas, or Seattle. Now, as far as any way of teasing it, if you tease that to plus 3.5, not bad. 2.5 numbers to tease isn't bad. And you can tease Philadelphia. And everyone likes 2-game teasers. Sometimes 3, 4, 5-game teasers are pretty good. So let me take a look at the best thinking teaser on this would be. Is there any value teasing Philadelphia? Let's see. Philadelphia's at -1. You take 6 to +5. Not really, no. I want to do it over key numbers. Like a 6.5 number. We got New England just got eliminated from the playoffs for the officially yesterday. That could be a big letdown spot with 2 weeks left. Green Bay -3.5. I'm just thinking. I don't think it's much value though. Teasing Buffalo down though. Green Bay -3.5 against Tennessee. Aaron Rodgers is doing good, but you're over that hook number to play, and Tennessee's damn good too. Wow, that's a pretty just 55.5 point spread. I haven't looked at any of these numbers. I wouldn't even have much opinion on totals right now. Just going to take a quick look at for teaser perspectives, and then I'm going to transition to hockey. Kansas City -11. Any teasing it to no. Washington. If you can, I don't think it will though. So did this 6. It's not the greatest anyway, but if you go from 9.5, that gives you 3.5 -3.5 and 4. 4-point wins just a whatever occurrence, but no, I'm not a big fan of that game either. Maybe teasing Tampa Bay down to -1.5. And New Orleans down to 1. New Orleans -1, and then whatever. Now, as far as upcoming, I'm only going to talk a little bit about this and just finish off within fantasy. But this is hockey, and the next hockey event, at least that I would care about coming up, is the World Junior Hockey Championship in 4 days on December the 25th. And in such, I am looking at a team, the Canadian junior hockey team, that just might be, and they've had some damn good teams in the past, the greatest team exponentially, head and shoulders, or by far than any other team that I've ever seen them have. And they've, again, had so many good teams in the past. I got to do more, many days. I'm doing more research, and I'm going to take a look at the United States, Sweden, Russia, Czech Republic, the Vegas odds say they are the worst of the 6 big teams. In Finland, whatever. And then just take a look at when the odds come out, how I'm able to look at different things. And maybe I'll get information on the Republic or Sweden when it's all said and done. But I'm going to be focusing on the World Junior Hockey Championships. I've looked at a couple sports books. I do not find any odds yet whatsoever, not even future odds. Although I did, again, look at oddschecker.com. And I seen that Canada was +125 to win the entire tournament. And I mean, if I knew more about other teams, I would say that's got value, but that would be wrong for me to say such. But what is, I think, accurate is this is a type of team that's just going to have no problem scoring, I think, against everybody. They're going to be just dominant amongst all facets of the game, and there is not a single player on that game that is underwhelming by any means whatsoever. All right, then. So that is where I'm going to be looking on. I'll keep you updated moving forward. Again, today's the 21st, so don't expect to hear much for at least 2 days until the 23rd on this. I mean, maybe you might hear something tomorrow, but I want to get as much information, and, of course, the lines to move or open as well. Switching over to hockey, and this is news I've just reading for the first time, not really that significant, but Ryan O'Reilly is the new captain of the St. Louis Blues. And 8:31, yep. Yesterday, the NHL and the National Hockey League Players Association have announced an agreement to play a 56-game regular season, which will begin play on Wednesday, the 13th day of January, 2021. And this will make the season end in July. 5 teams still are unsure exactly what the for sure status or what their status is going to be for their home location, as the Western Canadian provinces and the San Jose Sharks are having interesting situations. But as a what I don't care where they play, really when they play, if there's fans, if there's not. Apparently for fans, Detroit, Florida is where the fans are going to be. At least that's what I hear. So apparently Detroit, Dallas and Florida. So Dallas is going to destroy the attendance this year because Dallas wants to get 5,000 fans a game. Now the Florida Panthers are also stating that they want to get 5,000 players a game or fans a game. But then we can't do that, they're saying. So then they decided we're going to go down to 2,000 fans a game. And then they said, do we still think we're even going to get that? I mean, our team sucks. And I'm just trying to make a joke on how bad the Florida Panthers are. The fact that their attendance is really one of the worst, and how much do people really want to go to Florida. There's going to be more people in Tampa Bay that are going to want to watch the Toronto Raptors, or maybe the Tampa Bay Raptors now. But as it goes, hockey is back on schedule for the NHL for a half-year season, 6-month season. Now, what does this mean for me as far as my schedule? Now, I'm going to be looking more and more, as well as for legacy plays, as I'll call it, as a traditional sports wagering. And I think I'm going to do very well. So, especially last season, there was like 4, 5, 6 times I'm like, okay, this is a hammer game. Okay, I remember one was Boston and Detroit. I remember coming out and saying, yeah, it's not a matter. This is a spot where if it was like minus 800 for Boston, I wouldn't take Detroit a plus 800 kind of deal. It was, remember, one of those afternoon games. I'm looking at all the statistical data analysts, and I've never seen a mismatch of this type of nature before. Sure enough, it was, they got like 4, 5, 6 in a row, and they would have all won. Or maybe all, but pretty much most of them if it wasn't all. So I think I'm going to be able to have a good advantage there. Now, as far as fantasy sports is concerned, when the playoffs came this last year, in the months of August and September, they literally let me bet every single game, at least from like day 3. And that meant a lot of work. The stakes, they increased. The availability to make lineup combinations increased as well. So it was a lot of work in the playoffs. And it's going to be a lot of work again here, but not really. My schedule for the National Hockey League is the night before. I look on DraftKings and I see what games are coming up the next day. Whatever little information I might have, whatever side work I have within the fantasy realm. I'm also going to be trying to figure out how to win the National Basketball Association as far as doing data analytics within that. I passed on it during the playoffs for multiple reasons. 1, because of how busy hockey was, and 2, because the playoffs is a different metagame than the regular year, although I want to know both. But they're 2 completely different metagames for both hockey and basketball for playoffs and regular season. So when the morning comes up, like say 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning, I check for new lineups, buy new games, that sort of deal. But there's really not much more else to do. And weekends and afternoon games. And there might be more afternoon games, and there could be more availability. And I hope there is. But as it goes, I'd like to know morning skate information. There's no morning skates on afternoon games. And what does this mean? So I have to ask myself, what does it mean when I get my morning skate, my news? How am I going to put this together? How does this mathematically work within lineup construction? And for that matter, noon o'clock, like morning skates is 10 o'clock in the morning local time, so 10 a.m. Eastern time, 1 p.m. Eastern time for the West Coast. How it's going to work this season, it was much different in the playoffs than it was in the regular season. I most certainly will have to expect that to continue to go forward. So I'm going to have to adjust to the news on how it comes in. Late afternoon is an interesting time, 4 o'clock. Time is running low, and all info now is game time info. You're not going to get any new information for hockey until just before the game. All the in-day information stuff you might get, and you might get goalie information changes, but not last year in the second half of the playoffs during the when they played in Edmonton and Toronto. Much different goalie announcements at that point compared to the regular season. So I'm going to be interested to see how it was. They even had different rules that would be for injuries, making things a little more frustrating at times back in the playoffs as well. And then 30 minutes before the game, and as far as making lineups is concerned, how long does it take to do all this stuff? To make lineups? Like a minute or 2 or 3? Make new lines in the morning? A minute, 2 or 3? Morning skate, that can be anywhere from 2 minutes to an hour, depending on what the information is. Sometimes if it's a nothinger, there's no real new information, you just do whatever with it. It's going to take at least an hour per hockey game. There's nothing I can do about that with the information to go through different statistical trends, to go through line combinations, to go through whatever this miscellaneous stuff and the pricing points again on the fantasy, how much players price and how things correlate together. So correlation, that stuff is about a 60-minute minimum. And to a degree, sometimes a lot of the information that you already know, if you've been doing, you pretty much, if you never did it before, or maybe as much, maybe it would take a half hour to do it. I can do it in 5 or 10 when I'm in the veteran mode. But 30 minutes before the game is the most crucial point, as that's when I need to check game warm-ups and adjust to any of the information that I may have on the fly. And after last year in the playoffs, oh boy, am I getting good at this? In that they'll tell you even 20 minutes, they're not going to give you much, 20 to 15 minutes before the game. At least cutoff time. If it's a 7 p.m. or 10 p.m. game, 10 minutes to the 15 minutes to the top of the hour. And then that means with the information, you don't got much time to adjust the plays. It's got to be done fast. So the 4 o'clock job, it can be an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours a day. So I got to feel it's going to be relatively, hopefully, not difficult to continue doing National Hockey League, as well as the charting, of course, that I always do. And I'm hoping that this will work out, that within the 100 selections that I play, don't be surprised if a large, vast majority of all my plays do come from pucks. Thank you for tuning in and yeah, by the way, this game, it's DraftKings. It's methodology. If you would have asked me like a year and a half ago that there's a possibility where I could come in and say this strategy is literally gold, and you'd have an ROI of exponential proportions, it's very big, which is why I really am really huge on finding basketball wins, because I really did max out the game as far as max stakes is concerned. And max stakes in hockey isn't gonna get you extremely rich, because you only play against what the field is. And in the regular season, more times than not, it's going to be like $152, $300, $400 a day. That's the most I can bet per game, which, quite frankly, for high stakes gambling, isn't that high stakes. Take care.